For the next drawing, we're going to take a look at this hex wrench, which is in your packet. So get this out. This is a 2-view drawing. We have a top view and a front view. You're going to use some similar tools that we've just been using, like TTR, to get these curves. I'll show you a new tool called Polygon to get this hexagon shape. To start it, it's pretty easy. You're just going to start with, I would just start with a 6-inch line. So draw a line over 6 inches, maybe offset it down 1 inch, and that'll get you your 2 center points. That's what I'm going to kind of start with. I have the 2-inch diameter circle here, and this other one is a 1/2 inch radius. And you can kind of see I already kind of got that started here. So I started with this line, 6 inches. Then I offset it down 1 inch. I already drew this 2-inch diameter circle. Now I got to get the other circle, which is down here, and that's a radius of 0.5. And then next you want to use the TTR tool, because we have here 2 tangent points and we have a radius of 6, and here we have 2 tangent points with a radius of 4. So TTR works perfect. So I click the arrow below circle, tan radius. I want to make sure like don't just randomly click this time. See, like here it didn't really get the right curve. You want to make sure you get the points close to where they are, like for instance down here, roughly about right there to about maybe right here. And that is a radius of 4. And then the other one is, I'll go about right here to about right there, and that's a radius of 6. Now we need to trim, so TR enter. I'm going to keep both circles, and then I can trim this stuff off. And also do another trim, and I can get rid of that. And there's the basic shape right there. All I have left to do is the hexagon in the middle. And before I do that, I know that it's 1 inch tall, or 1 inch total. So I'm going to draw a line from the midpoint here up a 1/2 inch so I can get to the top of here. So I'm going to draw a little 1/2 inch line. So I'll grab a line. I'm going to go right here. I'm going to go up 0.5. And the polygon tool is under the right, like you have rectangle. If you hit the arrow next to rectangle, you can get polygon. And you can take a look here. It says it creates an equilateral closed polyline. You have 2 options. One is inscribed and the other one is circumscribed. It's basically, are you drawing the polygon within the circle or outside of the circle? And for this one, we want the circumscribed one on the right, because the flat is on the top here. See, it's flat on the top. It doesn't go to the point. So when we do that, so we'll click Polygon. First, we got to enter our number of sides. In this case, we want to type in 6. If it was 8, you type in 8. But for this one, we want 6. Hit Enter. Then we specify our center point. And here's where you have to set it to one or the other. So we're going to use circumscribe for this. And then all I got to do is just move the mouse straight up till you hit that endpoint of that 1/2 inch line we drew. Click, and that's it. Now we have our polygon on there. And I can delete this little line. That front view is done. Then all I did was I drew for the spacing. I went to the top here, kind of drew a line over, and I offset it up 1 inch. We have like 1 inch of space in between. You can see it here, in between the front view and the top view. And then I can also project up, this left edge and the right edge. So I'm just kind of like setting up in the box is set up. And the other thing I want to do is another offset. 1.87 is the total depth here. So 1.87. So I'm going to offset 1.87 here up. So now I know that entire top view will fit within this box right here. And you can kind of clean it up if you want. Some of those overlapping lines. So I have 1 inch of space. Now I have my 1.87 distance here. And it's going to be a lot of projecting. Like I can project up the left edge of this 2-inch diameter circle would go there. I can also get the thickness of the handle, which is 0.75. So I can offset that, 0.75 offset down. So you can kind of see I have the shape of it now. Now maybe I'll switch to my visible layer and start to trace over some of this. I'll have to get the hidden lines here for the hexagon too. Same thing for that. They project up from this view. So you want to switch to hidden line, grab a line, and I'm just going to project up. This point will go up. We'll just go to here. This point. There's 4 lines that you want to project up. Now, those all relate to the hexagon shape. Also, we know the depth of it going into this part is 0.63, so I could offset that. So if I go here, I'm going to do O enter, 0.63 enter, and I'm going to click here and offset this up. So now I can trim all of that and basically all of this too. And I can delete these lines. I don't need them anymore. But that just helped me to project the lines up. And then here, I'm going to make this shorter and switch that layer to hidden. So that's what the hexagon shape looks like in the top view with the hidden lines. Another thing you want to project up, you'll notice that there's this line here that continues and kind of curves around. All the fillets and rounds are 1/8 of an inch. Where that line ends is right here. The tangent point with this circle and this curve. So right about here, if you were to project that point up, that's where this comes into play. So we got to do that next. So I'm going to grab a construction line. I'm going to try to find that point, which is right here. Here's that end point. And that would be where the circle connects to the curve. And I drag that up to right here. And that's an 1/8 inch fillet. So F enter, R enter, 0.125. And I can fillet that. And then I can delete the line. And then change this to, or let's see, I'll change that to a visible line. And then I also need to either draw a visible line there or just take this and drag it over. And now I'm going to turn off my construction lines and kind of see where I'm at here. So it's looking pretty good. I still need to do the other fillets. There's all the 1/8 inch fillets, F enter, R enter, 1/8 of an inch. I have that one, that one. There's one right here. Looks like we're going to have to redraw that line in because it deleted it. And the last one should be right here. And I'm going to take this line now and redraw it over. So that's what our top view will look like. And there's our front view. The last step with this would be to put center marks on and then dimension it. So I'm going to do center layer, go to annotate. I want to put some center marks on here, down there as well. I'll also have a center line, which if I go back to annotate, so I use center mark, and then I can use center line for here, because I have a center mark right there. And then the last step would be to do all of the dimensions. And basically you want it to look just like this. When it's done, you're going to set it up on ANSI landscape 1 to 1.5. We haven't done that yet. If you look in the title block, 1 to 1.5. So that would be the last thing. So if I go back to CAD here, obviously finish your dimensions. We're going to do ANSI landscape. I double click in the viewport, double click the wheel. And the reason we're doing 1 to 1.5 is because of this. 1 to 1, it doesn't quite fit. I mean, it does fit, but again, I don't have any dimensions on there, so I might lose some dimensions. So I could do 1 to 2, but now it's like way too small. So I want to do 1 to 1.5, but that's not an option. So what you want to do is scroll all the way to the bottom and hit custom. We want to add a new one. And we're going to name it just like the other ones are, except you're going to go 1 to 1.5. And then we want to change this to be 0.5. So 1 to 1.5. So we just added a new scale. Hit OK. Hit OK again. Now when you go to change it, we have a new scale in there, 1 to 1.5. And make sure that's reflected in the scale when you do the title block. And that's okay if it gets cut off a little bit. But yeah, that'll complete the hex wrench drawing.